so many lessons for us. What will Mama Ocean teach us today?
Today, we are going to Pillar Point Harbor to do an underwater trash cleanup.
Hi, we're the Stark family and we're here this morning at the Pillar Point Harbor on a mission to pick up some trash. I hope you guys like this episode.
What is an underwater cleanup? Well, we are going to send scuba divers down below the water to look for things made by humans. Lots of trash ends up in harbors by accident, and then it sinks to the bottom. Do you remember how trash gets into our environment by accident? That's right. If people are not careful with their trash, wind and water can carry it from bins or streets down to the water. Let's see what happens when things sit underwater. Jason is going to take us under the water.
Somebody lost their dad.
It's a seaweed.
It's plastic.
Yeah, it's plastic.
Like that. Look, what is this? Looks like a yogurt. Already breaking down, some seaweed growing on it. A couple of limpets in here too, attached to it.
And some more garbage.
More garbage.
And don't throw in the water.
Arrow is right. Please don't throw trash in the water. Do you think that we should recycle this piece of plastic or anything we have found today? Nope, you are right. We can't recycle things once they have become contaminated. Do you know the word contaminated? When we talk about trash becoming contaminated, it means that it is covered in food waste or some other substance that makes it impossible to recycle properly. It's really dirty. For example, when you finish a jar of peanut butter, you can't throw it in the recycling bin right away. You have to wash it out. If we wanted to recycle anything that we have pulled up from the ocean today, we would have to wash it so well that it might break down anyway. Let's check and see if you got it. Is this recyclable? No, you're right. Let's wash it with help from an adult. It is recyclable! Yay! Remember to always wash your containers out before you put them in the recycling bin.
You got more trash?
I got more trash.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go over some of the things that we have found so far. This poor kelp is tangled in fishing line. What if an animal wanted a seaweed snack? It would eat the fishing line too. Yuck! This comes from the kitchen. How did it get here? This bucket will slowly break down into smaller pieces if it was left under the water. This carpet probably leached out a bunch of microfibers into the water. Microfibers are tiny pieces of plastic that come from some fabrics. This pollutes the water. Oh no.
You see this? It's from a kid's lunchbox.
Jade is right. It is very possible this came from someone's lunch or snack. What did we learn before? Can this be recycled? No, probably not. It's very dirty. Very smart, sea huggers. Instead of getting fruit snacks in a plastic bag, get fresh fruit without the plastic. Joanna has some more advice for us about packing lunches. Let's listen.
And so we find this kind of package a lot in kids' lunch boxes. If they don't dispose it correctly, it can easily fly off to the ocean, then becomes a hazard for sea creatures. Super toxic. It also can fly off into the forest, and then we have deer and bunnies and whatnot. So really got to be careful. There's a lot of biodegradable materials these days, or reusable cans that you can use to put in your kid's lunchbox. So yeah, be really alert when you pack your kid's lunch.
Biodegradable options are great too. Do you know what biodegradable means? Biodegradable means something that can be decomposed by bacteria or other living organisms. They eat it. So cool.
This is a plain old bottle. You see it has been taken over by sea life. But when it's in the shallow spots, the sun and the salty water break down the plastic. And this is what a bottle looks afterwards. You can snap it in half easily. When it is very thin, you can turn it into, it would break down into little pieces, and all the sea life would try to eat it, and they would be sick.
Jade is correct. When pieces break down, they are called microplastic. Can you say microplastic? When plastic ends up in the ocean, waves and sun and movement slowly break larger plastics into smaller and smaller pieces. These are the most toxic and most difficult to see on the beach. Whales to humans. When you go to clean a beach, look for tiny pieces of plastic. You could use a nurdle trommel or a mermaid tear catcher to sift through the sand. You can also use a metal sifter from home. When you are making a sand castle, sift through the sand as you go and find microplastics.
So this is pretty fascinating how the animals will adapt. These are sea squirts that are growing on this plastic cup, and then that's a chitin. And you can see how the plastic is starting to break down into microplastic, and those animals are contributing to it breaking down and consuming some of it. So it's highly dangerous to have the plastic prolonged usage or prolonged submersion under the water.
Oh, the little crab. Good job, Jade. Was it living in this bicycle thing?
Actually, it was living in here.
Oh.
At least it's not in a plastic bag.
Okay.
A lot of crabs are used to being living in the sea life, and they love to go in little tight cramps. And sometimes they go in plastic bags, which is really bad for them.
Or in a plastic cup. They find their houses in plastic, toxic things. So good job, Jade, trying to save that crab.
So many animals are living in plastic. Should Mr. Whale live in some plastic? No, I would rather live in a clean ocean. Let's go over some of the things we learned today. First, trash is below the water, even when you can't see it. Second, recycling is not the best option. We want to reuse instead. Third, wash your recyclables before throwing them in the recycling bin to avoid contamination. Fourth, biodegradable means that something capable of being decomposed by bacteria or other living organisms. And last but not least, Microplastics are tiny pieces of plastic broken down from larger pieces of plastic that animals eat and can make them sick. Thanks for learning with me today. Go teach one friend about something you learned today.
With me to a camp by the sea, Camp Sea Hugger. The ocean has so many lessons for us. What will Mama Ocean teach us today? Come unlock the mystery.